Okay, today we're joined by Kate Matsudaira and from Popforms. Firstly, thank you, Kate, for joining us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. Okay, so firstly, why don't you tell us about the Spark Planner, your latest Kickstarter campaign?
My latest Kickstarter campaign. So the Spark Planner, we did a Spark notebook last year, and a lot of people really liked it. But one of the requests that we had, so the idea with the notebook was that it was 6 months of planning plus places to take notes. So the idea was you can kind of have one notebook that was both a planner and a notebook. And you can still buy those online at thesparknotebook.com if people are interested. But one of the requests we had is people love the planning system. And they said it'd be amazing, like, I'm not using the note pages and I would love to just have it all as one big planner. And so that was what we did. We created the Spark Planner, and it's currently on Kickstarter right now. And I think we have about a little over a week left at the time of this recording.
Right. So the Spark Notebook was your first project. So basically, what's different about the Spark Planner?
Well, it just doesn't have the notes. Otherwise, it's really similar, and it has dates. So the Spark Notebook didn't have any dates in it, and this one, on the other hand, has dates, so it's only usable for 2016.
Okay. So you'd recommend people if they like what they see with the Spark Planner, they should check out the Spark Notebook as well, because yeah.
Well, I think you only use one or the other, because the Spark Notebook it's got like planning in the front, so you kind of plan your goals and your everything, and then it has notes in the back. So if you're someone who goes to a lot of meetings and takes a lot of notes and kind of want your planner and notebook in the same book, that's the Spark Notebook.
Right.
Which that's how I am. But if you just want a planner, or you use a different book for taking notes, or you take notes only digitally on your computer, then the Spark Planner would be a better option for you.
Right. Okay. So how did you get the initial idea for the Spark Notebook then? I mean, I know that you're running the Spark Planner now and they're very associated, but how did you get the first idea for that notebook?
It was just something I'd always wished it existed. For me, I always was using my notebook to like plan my goals in one part, and then I would take notes in the other part. And I was like, it'd be amazing if this was in like one book. And so that was kind of how and I wasn't the only one. I know a lot of other people manage their to-do lists and things like that in their physical notebooks. And so I was like, I went and tried to just create one. Like I kind of designed it out and went to like Staples and was like, can you print this for me? And they're like, well, no. And I tried to get it printed, and it was really expensive. So then I went to a printer. They're like, well, it's the same cost to do one as it is to do like a few hundred. So I was like, oh, I should do crowdfunding. So that was kind of how I turned to Kickstarter.
Right.
Yeah.
So you must have been a busy person. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, my background is I mostly have been in like technology and engineering, and let's see what else. I've worked in big companies like Amazon and Microsoft. I started my career as a software developer. I think now I'm more of a serial entrepreneur. I've worked in startups. I started my own company. Now I'm a partner, a founder in another company. So I definitely have done a lot of different things and kept myself very busy.
Well, obviously the Spark Notebook and Planner, they were built for you in your busy life, and they obviously a lot of people it hit a note with. And you had a successful first campaign, and now your second campaign is coming along nicely. Why don't you tell us a little about the development process of the well, let's talk about the planner. The development process of the planner. I know that they kind of asked you for something more visual and less note taking. Did you have many different designs that you went through?
Not really. I would say like we really worked from the Spark Notebook design and kind of took all the best parts of that and then just kind of iterated on it. So that was So we that was where we started. We just started with like the very best of the Spark Notebook, and then just continued to improve it. And I mean, if you look at both, which you can see previews on our website, thesparknotebook.com of both, you can see they're really similar. I think the biggest difference is that the Spark Planner is just for 2016. It's dated, things like that. Whereas the other one is a lot more flexible, but the flexibility also comes at a downside, right? Like the monthly planning isn't necessarily within the months. It's kind of separated out because we couldn't put it in there without it making sense, right? So there's a bunch of like little things that are different, but it just depends on how you use your notebook and planner, really.
Sure. Okay, so you've got the Spark Notebook, the Spark Planner is part of the Popforms company that you've started. So
no, I sold Popforms.
Oh,
so the Spark Notebook is its own company. I sold Popforms in June.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so Spark Planner is going to be part of something else, or is it part of Popforms?
No, the Spark Planner and Spark Notebook are now its own company.
Okay.
Originally, it wasn't, but it is now.
Cool. And then, okay, so I guess now that are you detached from Popforms, or are you in daily management?
Yeah, no, I'm detached from Popforms. I'm working on totally different stuff now.
Okay, you really are a serial entrepreneur. That's great.
Life changes quickly. Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Okay, so this is your second Kickstarter. What did you learn from your first that has really assisted you in doing this second one?
A lot, really. I mean, I learned a lot about manufacturing and shipping, so that was definitely like a big one. Last time I didn't charge enough for shipping. I didn't know my exact weight of the notebook. I thought, it has to be less than a pound, and it was just a little bit over with all the packing materials.
Right.
And so I lost a ton of money on shipping because I had to eat all those shipping costs.
Right.
I would say I learned a lot about manufacturing. Initially, my cost per book was really, really high. It was almost close to $17.
Right.
And I got that much lower by changing just how I did the manufacturing and things like that, but still using really high quality materials, just like how I sourced it, how I did it. So there was some of that. Also, one of the big things that was I printed the notebook in one state and then assembled the pages into a book in another state. So I paid $3,000 in shipping just transporting the pages. So this time I printed and bound them together in where it doesn't cost me anything to get the paper to the bindery.
Right.
So stuff like that.
Logistics. A lot of logistics.
Yeah, just a lot of the logistics. And then, so that's one thing, the logistics. The second thing would be I learned a lot about promotion and just how to run a good campaign. One thing that I've done a lot of that has been really beneficial for me and other campaigns is I'm really into cross-promoting.
Right.
I think it really helps. A lot of people don't want to do that. I've heard people say that's not what my backers signed up for and things like that. But I think it's awesome to feature other creators. I like doing it. It helps me. It helps them.
Yes.
And no one's ever complained to me that was one of my backers. So I do that a lot, which I think is a little bit different than a lot of other creators. But I do a lot of cross-promotion. I think one thing that worked really well for us in the first Kickstarter was we had a really compelling $1 pledge level, which we did the same thing here. And people are always like, I think that would cannibalize your pledges. And it might. I don't know. My theory is that if someone is going to pledge $1, they probably wouldn't, for the digital version, they probably wouldn't buy the physical version anyway.
Right.
Or they don't have the money. But the one thing that does do is it gives you a lot more backers, which is really handy for getting people to cross-promote with you, for building your popularity within Kickstarter. So I always tell people, have a really compelling, low price SKU. To just get other people who want to pledge for you. And I would tell people not to do a big thank you or whatever, because I don't think that is actually very compelling for people. So try to figure out something digital or something that you can give them that is meaningful. I would encourage people at low prices, not to do anything shipping, where they have to ship something. I think it just complicates things and it's harder. So I would say, like, don't ship stuff at low price points if you can help it. International shipping is really challenging.
Right. Yes.
So I don't know. So those are like some of the stuff
that's
that
good.
is like on my mind, are things that I've thought about.
No, yeah, you mentioned cross promoting. We've got an article up there on our site, crowdbridge.net. We try to cover as many topics as possible on crowdfunding because people have questions, and there has been some mixed, points on the cross promotion. Some people don't agree with it. Some people agree with it. Some people have a certain rule of how many you should do a week. And in my experience, I did some cross promotion, and it was only positive for me because I was promoting products that I liked. I wasn't just promoting products that were just haphazard. I actually selected them. So I think that's got validation. Again, it depends on the platform you go with. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or other platforms. Okay, so you mentioned that the manufacturing. So these are made in the USA, and I believe they're made of recycled or recyclable materials.
Rainforest friendly, so some partially recycled, not all recycled, and it's rainforest friendly, which is actually makes it really expensive. But and it's all made in the USA, and we've picked, and it's all vegan. So we use a soft touch, really beautiful synthetic material.
Nice.
And I've taken care to make sure everything is the best quality that I can possibly afford. That is really durable too.
Right.
So yeah.
And ink. So it's soy-based ink. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so all American, all eco-friendly, and high quality. I mean, these are the things that really resonate. Yeah, they resonate with the Kickstarter community, definitely, those 3 points. Okay, so what advice would you give to anybody trying to start a campaign from their idea?
I would encourage them to start building momentum before you launch the campaign. And getting people excited about it, whether that is people in your personal network or friends and family, or you could actually create a site with an email list. I can send you a link. The people who did, I can't remember if it was the basic notebook or the self-journal, wrote a great post on how they tried to build some momentum before they launched around kind of just getting people excited and creating a little video series that encourage people to subscribe and share kind of before they actually launched. And when you can do stuff like that, I think it's really helpful because you then have all these people who are excited, because one of Kickstarter's algorithms that they use involves how the pledges per day, I think, is something that is something a lot of people look at. And so when you can have something that is really compelling and can get your pledges per day really high in the beginning, it can give you a lot of momentum to show up better in the Kickstarter rankings.
Yes.
And that's really good for just kind of getting more organic pledges and making the most of the platform. I don't know as much about Indiegogo.
Yeah,
how that works. But.
Yeah, they're similar, but that's some good advice there. Honestly, it really is, because with the momentum, the pledges per day, you're obviously increasing your ranking, increasing your visibility. I think with a product like yourself, I mean, it's something that can appeal to a lot of people I guess a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business startups, and where, time is very critical, and any organization of that is helpful. And I know that for myself, I would definitely want one of these books.
Well, I'll have to send, if you want, I can send you one. You can check it out.
For sure. Just lastly, what kind of, you're on Kickstarter now, it's your second project. What kind of other projects do you back? Do you back other projects? And if so, what types of projects do you generally?
Yeah, I do. A lot of them that I've backed are either personal, like ones that I've talked to people about, or that people have reached out to me. I'm not the type of person that actually surfs on Kickstarter, but I have backed a good number of projects, and I will, when I find something that's exciting or makes a good gift. I've backed a few projects that have yet, I backed a year ago and they didn't ship and stuff, and still haven't shipped, and that's kind of disappointing.
Right.
but yeah, no, I like supporting things that I'm passionate about. Usually they're people that creators have reached out to me or I've helped, or I just think what they're doing is pretty cool. So I don't know. I try to back when I can.
So if something catches your eye and it's something that hits a personal chord with you, then you'll back it, and it doesn't matter which category it's in. Or okay, yeah, no, that's great. No, you can, because Kickstarter has a whole spectrum, doesn't it, of all the different categories, and when you back it, you get a little color, don't you, in the pie chart?
Yeah, well, I like supporting other creators. So if there's something that is interesting to me, and I will back it.
No, that's great.
I backed a lot of books, like other people's books, but more like written books that people have written and stuff like that. So, but and on Indiegogo too, I backed a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I kind of will back whatever on whatever crowdfunding platform. But a lot of the time, I'm not a person who shops on Kickstarter, so to speak. They're more things that have come to me through my social network, through friends, stuff like that. Okay,
that's great. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for all of your great advice and your insight into your project.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope it's really useful for people. And I just want to reiterate, if anyone ever has questions that's listening to this or wants advice, you can reach me on my personal website. I have a contact form, katemats.com. And I'm happy to answer questions and share the things that I've learned and what has worked well for me, and just and that sort of stuff. And hopefully it will help them too.
Well, yeah, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. And we wish you the best with this project and everything in the future.
Thank you so much.